You're listening to the Estate Plan Lady Show with Yvonne Dantzler, where we talk about planning for your future. Whether it's estate planning, life insurance, retirement, or savings, we've got you.
Hello everyone, Yvonne Dantzler here, and I'm out on location at a beautiful park located in Southern California. Once again, I'm out on location at a beautiful park located in Southern California. As a matter of fact, if you hear any cars driving by, any kids yelling, just anything, it's nature. I'm outside and I'm out here recording. So just wanted to let you know before we move on to the question of the day. As a matter of fact, there's two squirrels in front of me right now that are fighting each other, going up and down these trees. This is so cool. So let's move on to the question of the day. Is it more difficult to file for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy since 2005? Once again, question of the day is it much more difficult to file for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy since 2005? Now, back in 2005, there's been some major changes onto people being able to file bankruptcy. And a lot of it had to do with income levels, people making a certain amount of money, just being able to just write off bankruptcies, write off their debts through bankruptcy when they possibly could have paid them. So, and there's much more involved than that, but that's more the major reason. Now let's move on. So anyway, for most people, that law since 2005 has little of any impact. So once again, the laws since 2005 has little to any impact on most people. So the major changes resulted in most people that want to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, they have to pass what's called a means test. So once again, they have to pass what's called a means test. So means is MEANS, a means test, which basically means they take your income from the past 6 months, and your income must be below the median, MEDIAN, income for a family of your size. So basically, and the median income varies from state to state. So once again, basically the major changes have resulted in you being able to, in order to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you have to first be able to pass a means test. Now, if you do not qualify by the means test, there's other ways that you can still go about filing for bankruptcy and qualifying. Those you'd have to look up on your own or consult a professional that would be able to help you with that. But if you do pass the means test, some other rules do apply now. So in addition to the means test, most people will have to, you'll have to do two other things. You'll have to do a pre-filing counseling, a credit counseling session. So before you even turn in your bankruptcy paperwork, or right after you turn in your bankruptcy paperwork, depending upon the jurisdiction that you live in, you have to do a pre-filing credit counseling course. And then you must take a post-filing debt educational course. So once again, besides the means test, you take a pre-filing credit counseling session, and then you take a post-filing debt educational course. Most of these pre-filing counseling and the debt education courses, they usually come in packages, and you can get specials on those. They come in, packages, or you can always go online. Just make sure that they are pre-approved by the federal courts, by the bankruptcy courts. Now, while the last two requirements can consume 3 to 4 hours of your time, they are not difficult and can be completed over the internet without ever having to interact with a live person. So if you have internet access, and I've seen these pre-counseling courses go anywhere from as inexpensive as $30 all the way up to could be $100. So it varies. It depends on which ones you go to. There's different ones, and make sure that they are approved by the bankruptcy courts. Okay? So for people that do not have internet access, a lot of them you can speak to a live counselor too as well, and it just depends on where you go. So definitely do your research on that. So basically, to answer the question of the day, is it much more difficult to file for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy since 2005? And the answer is, the only changes that have been made is that means test and the two sessions that you must do, the pre-filing credit counseling and the post-filing debt educational course. Most likely, if these things aren't done, your bankruptcy will not be completed. Now, you don't want to go off filing a bankruptcy then having it dismissed. You do want to discharge. My apologies. So there's a difference. There is a discharge and there's a dismissal. A dismissal is when the courts give this to you because you have failed to do something that they've asked you to do. A discharge is what you want in a Chapter 7, which means that the debts that you did file and put down should have been erased or forgiven. And we'll talk more about that in upcoming shows. But just to answer the question of the day, is it much more difficult to file for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy since 2005? For most people, it should have little or no impact. So anyway, thank you for tuning in to our quick podcast, to Yvonne's Wealth and Knowledge podcast show, and everyone have yourself a good day.
You've been listening to the Estate Plan Lady podcast with your host, Yvonne Dantzler. If you like what you've just heard, please subscribe and share our channel today. We invite you to listen again. Visit us at www.estateplanlady.com or call us at 909-440-8617. We are located in Southern California.